Welcome to At the Office, Cleveland's home for sports talk that never clocks out. From the latest headlines to heated debates, we're diving into everything sports. It's your hosts, Noah, John, and Eric.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into The Office, the show where we talk all things sports. I'm your host, Eric, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, John and Noah. And you can join us at The Office, too. Send us a comment. I want to see it on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. Yes, I still call it Twitter. Or text the show at 216-250-1411. That's 216-250-1411. John, Noah, how are we tonight, fellas?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm feeling great. I'm ready to get into talking some sports with my boys. Make sure you guys go check out the merch too while we're here and while I'm plugging away at theofficecle.com for all of your merchandise needs.
I'm doing well too, man. I've been waiting for this week for like the better part of 4 or 5 years for them when they announced that we're going to a bracket. So college football, man, I am all over it. And glad to be with you guys too.
I am so excited. We have quite the show for you. We're going to break down our first round picks for college football. We're going to talk Cavs and whether or not they should be active in the trade market. But first, I want to do one of our favorite segments, and that's 30-second takes. These are quick takes. Caitlin Clark is the topic today. She was featured on the cover of Time as the Time Athlete of the Year, and the Mystics owner took exception to that. I want to get your thoughts, gentlemen, but let's see those comments first.
It's taken the WNBA almost 28 years to get to the point where we are now. And this year, something clicked with the WNBA, and it's because of the draft of the players that came in. It's just not Caitlin Clark. It's Reese. We have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized. And I don't think we can just pin it on one player.
All right, 30-second takes. Noah, put it up. Let's start with John. I want to hear what you think first. Give me your take on that in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's a dumb comment. There are a lot of women in the league who do deserve recognition, but there's one reason TV ratings are up, jersey sales are up, ticket sales are up, interest is up, and it's Caitlin Clark. Now, there's a whole nother undertone and separate set of issues to say, why wasn't the WNBA popular for the 30-some-odd years it existed beforehand? That's a separate conversation in my mind. But no, Caitlin Clark is totally deserving. She's done everything with dignity and grace. Her comments are spot on. I have no problem with her winning. And this lady was out of bounds, I think.
All right, Noah, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. Let me get after it. I'll make this quick and simple. I agree with everything John said. This post was from CNN Sports. You know, in Twitter, you're able to leave comments to, clarify points or whatever. The main comment was that what is the team? I'm forgetting
Mystics.
Right now. The Mystics attendance was up 35%, and a majority of that came from the game they played the Fever against Caitlin Clark. So I think that answers anything that this owner has to say.
All right, Noah, put the clock up for me. Because I agree with both of you. First of all, the Mystics owner struggled to even name another player that came in that draft. She got Reese. That's right. That's another one. But please tell me one more. What this lady's saying, I'm not even sure she watches the sport that she owns. The reason that people are watching is Caitlin Clark right now. Yes, let's applaud all of the players in the league, including the black players in the league. But let's not forget why their bread is being buttered at the moment, and that is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, buddy. I don't think we're really any of us are in disagreement about that. And I think that's the main point here. Very interesting to me. Very interesting to me that she continues to still get this hate.
The only
think
thing I
that-
like about the hate is that it means that the league is more prominent. You know, there are so many rumors and hate that NBA players and owners and coaches get, and that's because people are talking about the league. So I like that when somebody brings up Caitlin Clark in whatever sense, that it means that that league is growing and more people are paying attention. That's awesome. I hate the fact that this girl has literally not put a foot wrong ever besides that flop. But that's another story. She has not put a foot wrong, and she's taken it all on the chin. She's been an exemplary model of what it is to be a leader. And keep in mind, she's in her early 20s. I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah,
Nothing.
with you, man.
I think a lot of the vitriol is misplaced. And the reason I said that before is because there's multiple issues at play here. There's the should she have been on the cover of the magazine with every other WNBA player? No, that's stupid and absurd. It's a dumb point. I think it's a thinly veiled attempt, though, to address something that's a bigger issue in Black America, which is there's this league of Black women who've been doing things for almost 30 years. A white lady comes in and is really popular, and we have resentment about that. Those feelings can be legitimate, but you have to be careful of misplaced anger. It's not Caitlin Clark's fault. She's done everything right. She's an ally. She's a supporter. Is there an element of this that's going, hey, when all the Black ladies were playing for all this time, nobody gave a shit. Now that we have Caitlin Clark, everybody cares. I can see why some people might be salty about that. But then I think there's other part of it that Caitlin Clark is a unique talent who's so good. I don't think her whiteness has a lot to do with it. Steph Curry's not white. He had a similar impact on the NBA just because they bomb threes and it's fun to watch. We'll never know if Caitlin Clark was Black, if all of the things would have been the same. There's no way to kind of do a holdout test with players in this scenario, but there's like 3 or 4 different things at play. And I think what she was kind of saying was speaking to the feeling that some of the players have about that. I don't necessarily agree with that either. But for the sake of this conversation, and as the Black guy on the show, I do want to throw that out there that I think she was trying to almost be politically correct and saying, we have a Black league and a white lady's playing savior, and some people don't like that. And she just made it about something it wasn't about. There should be nobody on the cover other than Caitlin Clark. And I think there's just so many things here at play that people say what they're feeling about 3 or 4 different things on one topic, and it gets all mixed together.
But I think you make such a good point that I just want to touch on once more is that you're right. She's getting media attention because she's good, but also because she's a marketable white woman. That's a fact. But like we're going to talk about in the college football playoff here in a second, Caitlin Clark could only live the life that she has. She can't change her ethnicity. She played the cards that she was dealt, so it isn't laid at her feet. If anybody, it should be laid at the feet of the media that prop her up as the perfect example of what the W should be, because she happens to be a decent looking white woman that also has skills. Like you said, that's a whole other conversation, but to be bitter against Caitlin Clark because of that conversation, that's where it's not benefiting the league, and it's not going to raise those voices that we want to raise, because she's helping to do that. And if you push her down, it doesn't raise anybody else up.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too, Eric. I think at the end of the day, the exposure that the WNBA has gotten, the fact that, you know, we had a segment talking about the Rockers, what was it, last week or the week before that, and being excited about the fact that we're even having a WNBA team, you know, a couple years before this, I feel like that conversation wouldn't even have been brought up on this podcast, because it was like, who cares about the WNBA? Yes, women's sports should be a big thing, but it wasn't. And Eric, you're completely right. Having her in the league, having her draw this attention to the WNBA in a way that this league has struggled to get in 20 plus years of their founding now. I think they're on their 26th season, was this past season when the Liberty won. It helps to uplift those voices as we continue to grow this brand and make the WNBA a worthwhile business proposition for not only the owners now, but potential future owners like Dan Gilbert and fans to buy in, like us three, that would totally go to a Rockers and or insert name here of Cleveland basketball team that is female.
Yep.
I will say one more note.
Oh, go ahead, E.
I just want to say, speaking, because we did open the conversation about the importance of Black voices in the league. I thought it was so cool how what's her name? The star of the Aces. I'm blanking on her name right now. Asia, is it Wilson?
Yeah.
Aja Wilson, yeah.
Aja Wilson. She had a quote the other day that was so impactful. She said that, something along the lines of, I went to school at a university where my grandma couldn't walk on the grounds, but now they've built a statue of me on those same grounds. And it kind of gave me chills just reading that comment. Like, damn, that's amazing if you think about it.
And just like
100%.
everything else in this country, it's become a microcosm and a lightning rod of what we're dealing with politically. Because so there's this, there's idiots there's Black people who are idiots, and there's Black people with misplaced anger. And then Caitlin Clark comes out and says, Black women should be honored and appreciated, and yes, and we get it. And she hit the nail on the head. And the MAGA crowd and Fox News crowd's now going crazy because she's too woke and she's passed up an opportunity to just go down the middle, and now she's let the wokeness of the WNBA get to her. And I'm like, so there's idiots on this side and there's misplaced aggression on this side. And Caitlin Clark is really just trying to play basketball and make money. Like, she's done everything right. She's caught in the middle. It's a lose situation.
100%, yeah.
Just keep balling out, being yourself, being unapologetic, and saying the right things, and there'll be something else to talk about next news cycle. But yeah, she fully deserved the cover of the magazine. And I think that lady was out of bounds to say it should have been everybody in the league.
Gentlemen.
To end it on a positive note real quick, to lighten it up a little bit, I finally got my first pair of Sabrina ones the other day.
Oh, yeah, you've been talking about them.
Everything. Yeah, I'm very excited to have them, but I'm going to be even more ecstatic and excited when I get my first pair of Caitlin Clarks to wear to the gym and that kind of thing. And the fact that we're even excited about women's branded basketball shoes, I will say it till the whatever saying you want to throw out there. I will continue to say I'm just happy we're talking about women's sports and being able to have this conversation and this dialogue.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Gentlemen, we are just getting started, and we've already hit on racism. And I mean, we got heavy early, but we're going to move on because I am so excited. The expanded college football playoff is here. And to say that I'm excited is such an understatement. I'm excited for football and college football in particular. Every year, you guys know the Buckeyes are up there as my number one team. But now that it's expanded, there's magic in the air. And I want to get to our predictions in just a minute. But before we do that, I want to know quickly, who is your favorite to win it all? And what first round matchup are you most excited for? John, I'll start with you on this one since Noah leads us off with all of our picks. Who do you got winning it all, first of all?
It's a loaded question for me because I firmly believe that if Ohio State wins against Tennessee, that they will win the whole thing. But I'm not sure that they're going to win. I'd have to say it's chalk, but the most complete team who's put together the best resume, who I think can beat all of the other 11 teams, is Oregon.
Wow.
If I had to pick a team right now, if you said, here's $1,000, you got to bet it on one team, who do you have? I'd put it on Oregon. Now, like I said, if the Buckeyes win 42-14 on Saturday, I'm changing that vote ASAP, but I'm not sure they're there. I don't have a Penn State's got an easy path, but they're going to play somebody good at some point.
All right. We'll get to all the picks in a minute. I just wanted your one winner. Noah, give me your one winner.
Eric, I want to hear what you have to say first because my take is going to be hot and I want to leave it last. So who do you think's going to win?
All right. Who's going to win the college football playoff? I like John's, how he set it up. If he gave me $1,000 to bet on anybody, who would I bet it on? And I would have to think about it for about half a second before I say the Ohio State University Buckeyes. Are you kidding me? They are the most complete team. We'll get into the reasons why. We're going to talk about our picks, but Ohio State, obviously. Noah, what's your take?
Yeah, man. So you guys both said the two answers that I figured you were going to say, so I thought I'd come out of left field. I'd go with a kid from down the way who's returning for his senior season with the easiest path to win the whole thing. Eric's least favorite team in college football. Give me the Penn State Nittany Lions on a run.
I can't wait to tell you why you're wrong about that.
I hope I'm wrong too, but I had to go spicy and out of left field instead of just saying, yeah, Ohio State because I'm a fan, or Oregon because they're the 1 seed.
By the way,
Penn State
down
has
under,
the
they're in
easiest.
Pennsylvania, not Australia.
I didn't say
love
down
your
under. I said
intros.
down over, which doesn't make sense either, to be fair. But
Down the road.
down the road over in what
State College.
State College.
That's
Happy
what
Valley.
I thought. Okay, Happy Valley. Yeah, right. Okay. Regardless, I'm taking him because I think Drew Aller is going to end up being a first-round pick. I know you guys might be down on him. I could see him continuing to go down the path of being a very, 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 very good quarterback.
All right,
for that
hold it for that game segment,
Okay.
because I do want to get into our picks.
Yeah, of course.
So let's do that. We have a fun template here so we can actually show our actual picks. Look at that.
Look at us
All
go.
right. So
Up in
here's
the
how this is going
production
to go.
budget.
Here's how this is going to go. For each pick, I'm going to ask, Noah's going to go first, followed by John, followed by myself. We're currently out of order on the screen, so let me just switch that. There we go. And that's how we're going to do every pick. So we're starting with, obviously, the first game that's coming up this Friday night. It features number 10 Indiana visiting South Bend to take on number 7 Notre Dame. Notre Dame's favored by 7 here. Both teams are getting their first taste of the playoff. Neither team has ever been in the playoff. Notre Dame's only loss came early in the season to Northern Illinois, but they don't have a lot of big wins either. Indiana, meanwhile, they beat up on everybody they played, but they lost to their only ranked opponent, the Ohio State University. Noah, lead us off. Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, this is really simple and really easy. Give me my second college football team in the country, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I picked the Fighting Irish for one reason. I think Indiana is a bunch of frauds. I don't think they have had the credit is given to them 100%. They deserve the credit for the year that they've had. It's been a historically bad program. They haven't played anyone good, played someone good, didn't win the game. Notre Dame is a seasoned program who lost a game against a bad team early. Don't get me wrong, but how many times have we seen that happen and then a team go on to win? Shout out the Ohio State championship season. I know this playoff is different. Give me the Fighting Irish.
All right, John, who do you got, Indiana or Notre Dame?
Yeah, Notre Dame is -7. I see why. The game's in South Bend, but I cannot disagree with Noah more. First of all, to call Indiana fraudulent, but saying Notre Dame is like the number 2 team in the land is wild. Both of their strength of schedule was terrible.
I didn't say they were the number 2 team in the land. I said they were my number 2 college football team.
Okay. Sorry.
And wait,
So relax on that.
Before you get into your point, you're picking Indiana here, John?
Absolutely. Yeah, Indiana plays in a good conference. They've had some decent wins, even though they haven't had a signature win. Now, they had one test on the road. That was against Ohio State. They failed it. But I went back and thought about that game. They gave away 14 points just on special teams. Like, if you can manage to punt the ball properly and cover properly, that takes 14 points off the board. And I don't think they were as bad against Ohio State as the final score indicated. That game was a field goal difference at halftime. IU has at least been tested on the road. Notre Dame hasn't played anybody. Like I said, strength of schedule is bad for both, but I'm not sold on Notre Dame. They lost to Northern Illinois at home. That is a complete and total head scratcher. And I looked up one stat for each game, not just to legitimize my own take or my own thought, but to actually dig in a little bit and do some research. Notre Dame has the number 1 rushing offense in the country. Indiana has the number 1 rushing defense in the country. If you were going to build a defense to stop Notre Dame, it would look a lot like Indiana. Give me the Hoosiers in something like 24-28 slugfest.
That's interesting. Listen, I am a big proponent of the saying you can only play the schedule that's put out in front of you. So,
True.
what more do you want from these guys and who they're going to play? That said, I do have Notre Dame here. They've just got such a balanced attack on offense. I think they're going to win the turnover battle. I have Jeremiah Love as my X factor. I think he's going to put the ball in the end zone and rush for at least 2 touchdowns, and they'll put this one away. Indiana, it's a little bit of I think you're disingenuous a little bit when you say, it was a 3-score game or a 3-point game at halftime against Ohio State. That's after Ohio State turned the ball over and did absolutely nothing. It was more of Ohio State beating themselves like we saw against Michigan than Indiana actually doing anything. They had one drive down the field that I recall in that first half. They drove the ball like 90 yards, and I think they kicked a field goal. I'd have to
they had another good drive and threw a pick, but I get what you're saying. It wasn't a 3-point game at half.
All they did. And then Ohio State shut them down.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was 25-28 at halftime. It was like 7-10 or something, or 14-11. I don't remember, but it was close.
Well, I've got Notre Dame. And by the way, we are going to keep track of this because I want to see how we do. And then we're going to pick before the next round as well. But let's move on because on Saturday in the early game, we have number 11 SMU visiting Happy Valley to play number 6 Penn State. SMU had 2 losses on the year, an early loss to BYU, and then Clemson in the ACC championship, and then Penn State lost to Ohio State as well as Oregon in the Big Ten championship. Little fun fact about that, John took Penn State with the points, with the spread in that game against me, which means that he owes me an order of the world famous dumplings from LJ Shanghai. I cannot wait to cash in on that. If you guys have not had LJ Shanghai dumplings in Cleveland, please do yourself a favor and go get them immediately. I don't want to make that place busier, but she is a great person. She's hilarious too. But can't wait to cash in on that. Noah, who do you got in this game? SMU or Penn State?
Come on now. Give me Drew Aller and the boys. SMU is probably the worst team in this whole bracket. I don't think this is going to be much of a game. I think Penn State is in a better conference. I think Drew Aller is going to look fantastic. Give me Penn State and the boys. Or Drew Aller and the boys. Give me Penn State. That's simply put.
Yeah, I agree with everything Noah said, except that SMU is the worst team in the bracket. I think Arizona State is probably worse than SMU, and they got a bye on top of it. But we're splitting atoms. SMU they had a good season. They should be proud of it. They've never seen anything like what they're going up against. And one of the things, I know Eric's a Penn State hater, but to double down on what my boy Noah said, we hate them because they're an in-conference rival. They play us tough, and they beat us occasionally. Penn State is one of the best environments in all of college football. They're going to have a midday whiteout for a home playoff game. It's going to be ear-rupturingly loud. It's going to be about 20 degrees at the time of kickoff. This is a Big Ten football game against a team that played real hard and close against Ohio State, real hard and close against Oregon. Penn State's -8.5. I'd take Penn State -18.5. I think they roll big at home.
18? Wow.
I agree with you, John. I think they're going to win that comfortably. It's at home. It's the home playoff game, whiteout. How else can you feel this way? Eric, tell us why they're going to lose now.
You're right. I got SMU. Listen.
Stop.
If I listen. If I were telling you how to bet on this game, I would tell you probably don't take my advice here. But I'm going to give you 2 reasons why SMU is going to win this game.
All right.
The first reason is a bad man from Texas. His name's Kevin Jennings. He's only 6 foot, but he's thrown for over 3,000 yards this season, and he might as well add 1,000 more. Penn State's soft. Give me Kevin Jennings throwing 3 touchdowns, no picks. They're going to roll. The second reason I've got SMU comes down to, say it with me, guys, James Franklin is a fraud. Listen, going into the Big Ten championship, he had his excuses lined up. We don't get as much money. False. They get more money. We don't have as big a program as Oregon. False. They have a bigger program. He had his excuses lined up like little dolls in the dollhouse because James Franklin is a terrible football coach when it matters. I think you're right. I think Happy Valley is going to be rocking, but there's a reason that this is the noon game on Saturday, the first game, because nobody cares. Penn State's not going all the way. Forget what Noah said. They're losing this game.
That's crazy. That is absolutely insane, and you're going to probably eat those words by halftime. That's just my thoughts, though.
We'll see, gentlemen. We'll see. All right. Next, we got number 12 Clemson traveling to number 5 Texas, and this one, this should be fun. Texas lost twice to Georgia, including that overtime thriller in the SEC championship. Weird mentioning Texas in the SEC. It still just doesn't quite feel right with
100%.
these realigning conferences. And Clemson is a 3-loss team. They lost to Georgia, Louisville, and South Carolina. So Noah, who do you got?
Yeah, I think this is pretty straightforward. The ACC is one of the worst conferences for college football in terms of the Power Fives, or however you want to phrase that. Texas has been a hot powerhouse all season. Quinn Ewers is doing his thing down there. Is going to be an NFL quarterback after this season. Give me Texas. Minus 10.5 is surprising to me compared to the Penn State spread, but I'll still take it anyway. I think they win by 2 touchdowns at the very least.
It's getting bigger too, Noah. I had Texas minus 11.5. I checked about 10 minutes before we got on, so it's still moving because the money's coming in on Texas. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Give me the Longhorns. Clemson can't score. The ACC is terrible. There's going to be too much offense from Texas. Quinn Ewers, I know, has been banged up. He looked real good for a long time. He got hurt, and he's looked a little bit more pedestrian. But they also expect Arch Manning to play a little bit, who we know is a gunslinger. I don't see a way Clemson even keeps this competitive. Texas's defense is number 1 in yards per play and number 2 in scoring defense in the country, and Clemson can't score. I don't know that it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I know it's going to be a one-sided game, so I think Texas rolls in this one too.
I'm with you guys. I have Texas here. I think they're just too strong. I actually do think Ewers is going to have a big game. Interestingly, I believe this is the largest, analytics say that this is the largest percentage chance of win at 80+% for Texas. That said, I'm not a big fan of Dabo Swinney. I hated when Clemson beat us, but I don't count him out. I do think that he's a good coach. I don't think he has the talent on this roster to get it done. And I think this one's going to be wrapped up pretty early. I wouldn't be surprised if he hangs with him till halftime, but I wouldn't be surprised the other way either. Give me Texas.
See Dabo hit the transfer portal.
Yeah.
He thought it was king of the world 3 years ago. Now he's like, yeah, okay, let me see what's out there. We got to do a little better next year. But.
Yeah. All right. Finally. In prime time Saturday night at one of the most historic venues in college football, the number 9 Tennessee visits Ohio Stadium to take on the world famous Ohio State University Buckeyes, who are number 8. Tennessee comes into this game losing twice, once to Arkansas and once to Georgia. The Buckeyes lost a thriller by 1 point to Oregon, who many have as their top team to win it all. And then another game we don't really need to mention. Noah, let's start with you. Who do you have, Ohio State or Tennessee?
I think the pick here is obvious. If you are a true Ohio State fan and you pick anybody other than the Ohio State Buckeyes in this draw, you're fraudulent, period. And that's my thought process. The Ohio State Buckeyes are poised. Ryan Day's job is on the line. If they don't win a national championship this year, we're going to see changes in Columbus, whether that be Vrabel, whether that be some other third party like Brian Hartline, God forbid. Give me the Ohio State Buckeyes, and we're going to beat up on those stupid ass volunteers. Ohio State by 50.
John, I want to hear your take, but before you go, I do want to point something out real quick. Yeah. Noah and I came dripping in Ohio State. We're proud of our Buckeyes. Throwbacks. We are mega fans. John, give me your take. Ohio State or Tennessee?
So before I do my take, 30 seconds. Noah, you're full of crap. I am a huge Ohio State fan. I love the Buckeyes. I cheer for them harder than I do the Cavs and the Guardians a lot of times. I absolutely love them. I'm also a realist. The same way that I said, hey, the Chiefs are going to beat the hell out of the Browns on Sunday doesn't make me a bad Browns fan. That's just how I see things happening. There's two key reasons that I think there is a big difference, but there's two key reasons. One is in logic, and one is the sniff test, right? Ohio State has the most talent in the country. There's no doubt about that. But what they don't have, as a soccer term that Eric would probably be familiar with, is they're not in good form. When you look at how they've played late in the season and how they're coming into this game, I have serious concerns. The other thing is Tennessee is almost built like a Big Ten team, and they're a lot like Michigan. Tennessee's front four isn't quite as good as Michigan's, but they are exceptional. And Tennessee has more skill player positions at wide receiver, running back, outside to make life harder on our defense. If we struggled with Michigan, Tennessee is a faster Michigan. I think we're going to struggle to run the ball, and if we don't come out with a game plan that's ready to throw the ball down the field 50 times and light it up through the pass game, and we get baited into this, who can get 3 yards in a cloud of dust, I think it could end in a disappointing fashion.
Wait. First of all, that was way longer than 30 seconds.
No, this is not my take.
Give me your take. Are you taking Tennessee?
Yeah.
What?
I'm taking Tennessee because I think
fraudulent fan.
No, it's not a fraudulent
period.
Fan. The Buckeyes, I hope I'm wrong. It's a win-win for me because either I'm right here
it's not
or I
a
get
win-win.
to root for the Buckeyes and keep them going. What did they do against Michigan? What has Ryan Day done in big games to give you guys confidence they're going to come into this game and play exceptionally well? I
can answer this.
I think they're going to lose. I think he's going to come in unprepared. We're going to try to run it a million times again. If he does what he does against Michigan, I see us having a real long day.
John normally has some of the soundest takes on our program. And today he's lost his damn mind. Are you
off the
first of all
cracker. Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to be the homer and take Ohio State just to take Ohio State, because I don't like that either.
That's what Noah said. No, that's half of it.
I wouldn't have taken the Browns against the Steelers, even though I'm a Browns game. I thought the Steelers were going to beat us, and they did. But we're talking about first of all, a guy that says, well, if we beat Tennessee, they could win the whole thing. Come on, you can't hedge your bet both ways like that. You can't say if they beat Tennessee, they're going to win the whole thing, but they might not get past Tennessee. Ohio State is going to demolish this team. That, first of all, the fearsome SEC, it's so much louder bullshit. They're going to demolish them. The shoe is going to be rocking. Noah's right. 50 points, it might be more. I cannot believe that this is at 7.5. This should be at 15.5. It's not even going to be close. First of all, Ryan Day, I have defended him in the past, and I was very clear after Michigan that he needs to be gone. That short of winning a national championship, that's it for Day. But this is also a man who has lost a game to Michigan and then coached his fucking head off. Georgia coached his head off. We should have won that game. We got screwed out of that game. He's coached his head off against Clemson. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see Ryan Day on fire. We're going to see Chip Kelly going, let's pull out all the stops. Let's make all the fun plays. We're going to be vertical. I'm with Noah. We win by 50.
Okay. It's cold and windy. We're going to be airing it out. I hope to God you guys are right. I don't know, man. I'm not getting good vibes about this one.
We're at home, too. And I know you could say we were at home for the game and we lost to Michigan. We're at home. Ryan Day's job is on the line. He's probably lit a fire under every single one of these players' asses. I just don't see a world where a weak SEC beats a strong Big Ten team. Yeah, and I said it. The SEC's weak this year compared to
Michigan. Is different. And I hate to say it because this is part of why Ryan Day needs to go, but he coaches them different. He coaches them scared. He understands the importance of the game, and then he goes in and he can't get out of his own way. That's not how he's going to coach this game. We're going to see the best record coach in college football right now, which is Ryan Day, by the way. That's the Ryan Day we're going to see. It's not even going to be close.
I hope you guys are right. This is not a pick of what I hope happens.
Hey,
this
John.
is a pick of what I think is going to happen.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
I want to extend you the opportunity to go double or nothing in dumplings. So if Ohio State wins, you owe me 2 orders of dumplings. If they do not win, you don't owe me anything.
Tell you what, you're on, but with a caveat, and you got to accept the caveat. You also got to put up an order of dumplings for SMU in Penn State.
Oh, come on.
That's terrible.
Pick. That doesn't even make sense.
That's terrible, John. No.
You're just trying to cancel out your bet. Come on. Stick behind your pick of Tennessee, double or nothing.
Behind your pick of SMU.
I said if I were to give you money, you shouldn't bet my pick. That's clearly saying I hate Penn State. But in this instance, you actually think double or nothing. Are you in?
You said this line should be 15.
He's trying to walk his way out of it right now, so he can't.
I know he
is. You said the line for this
yes
game
or no? Yes or
no?
Yes
We're
or
not
no.
playing the spread.
Double or nothing. Not this caveat with that.
Thank you,
I will
Noah.
double or nothing, or no, I will not.
You know what?
Noah's not even in the bet. Now he's laying down rules like he runs things.
No, he's right, though. You're picking Tennessee straight up. So you're not in?
You said the line on this game should be 15.5. You want to give me 15.5?
You think Tennessee's going to win. That's what I want.
I'm not doubling down on dumplings unless you'll back. I will double down on dumplings across the board and say whoever does better.
The only way, double or nothing, I will give you the 7.5. I think Ohio State covers the spread at 7.5. I don't care if it moves. We're doing 7.5. I'll give you that spread, double or nothing.
Sure, you're on. I'll take
All
this.
Right. Virtual shake. You got to say it. Shake.
I got to go get my referee jersey ready for dumpling round 2 when Eric is eating a free meal off of John Sharp.
I can't wait until all I need left for my meal is the meatball, the Shanghai meatball. So we'll find another bet to do that. But for now,
could be SMU Penn State, but I guess those games don't count. Fine.
I've got to take us to a quick break, but stay tuned because we are talking Cavs and whether or not they should be making a move soon. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to At the Office. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on YouTube and check us out on Instagram and TikTok. Shout out to Fans for Sports, our parent network. And Noah mentioned it earlier, but you got to get in on the action and get some of the At the Office merch. It is the holiday season after all. Get your loved ones something cozy. Head over to attheofficecle.com. That's attheofficecle.com and order your merch today. Gentlemen, I had a lot of fun talking college football, but I want to transition over now and move into professional basketball and the Cavaliers. The Cavs still maintain the best record in the NBA, but the question is, should they still make a move? There's rumors of Jimmy Butler, of LeBron swirling. So what pieces should they add, if any? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some players up, and I want you to tell me your thoughts on that player and whether or not we should make a move for them. And frankly, what would you give up for them? What are they worth? So I'm going to start with one, Jimmy Buckets Butler. It's currently with Miami. He is a stud. With this round, since Noah started off with all of our college picks, John, we'll start with you. Jimmy Butler, you buy in?
I'm going to say no. I love Jimmy Buckets. I think he's a great player. I think he's fantastic, but I think he's a little bit ball dominant. I think he's a guard forward, but he plays guard and we already have a ton of guards. But more so than the skill set, because I think he's a unique talent. I think a team would be better usually. The thing that's interesting about the Cavs is that they seem to be doing it with teamwork and camaraderie and buy-in and cohesiveness. And I'm really worried about messing up the mojo for this team. It sounds crazy to say, this time last year, I probably would have been all over this. Can Jimmy Butler come in and be 100% team guy, let Donovan Mitchell run the offense, run the ball through him? maybe be a Batman to his Batman because he wouldn't really be a Robin. But if Jimmy Butler said, yeah, I buy in, I'm not going to be a menace in the clubhouse and everything's going to be Gucci, I say yeah. But it makes me nervous. I think I would say no just because of the chemistry thing. But no shade, Jimmy Butler's great.
All right, Noah, you give me your thoughts because I'm surprised by that from John.
Yeah, my thoughts echo John's, but are even harsher. I'm gonna go hell no.
Wow.
We have the best team in basketball right now, record-wise. We are playing offensively lights out, defensively lights out. If it isn't Mobley, it's Garland. If it's not Garland, it's Allen. If it's not Allen, it's Niang for some reason. Regardless of who's shooting, who's playing the best defense, you just don't break this with adding a player like Jimmy Butler, adding another ball-dominant player. You've seen this happen in the NBA far too many times. You've seen it happen relatively with LeBron and bringing in Westbrook and then bringing in every player they've brought into LA, and they've only amounted to one championship. We have the best record in the NBA right now, and you need to just keep running with it. You have almost four players playing at an all-star clip. Keep it together and keep it pushing because this team can do it without a big addition like Jimmy Butler.
I was going to say, ask the New York and the Milwaukee Bucks if just getting the best player available and throwing him on the roster always works out. I know they have time, and the Bucks are better, but
listen, I get your take. Basketball, more than probably any sport, is that sport where players need to mesh together. But we're talking about Jimmy Butler. This is a guy that has championship experience, that knows how to win a championship, that knows how to take a team on his own.
Did Jimmy Butler win a championship?
I don't know, but your look is making me question that.
You said this is a man who knows how to win a championship, and I was like, based on what?
He knows how to take them to a championship. Fair enough. He knows how to take them there. I don't know. Does it seem crazy to swap Garland for Jimmy Butler? Yeah, that seems crazy. Would I do it? Yeah, I think I would. I think I'm in.
Why?
Because there are few players in the league that are Jimmy Butler. And Garland's not one of them. I'll tell you that right now. I think he makes our team better. I think it's a risk. Yes. But I think it's a calculated risk. It's one of those moves where you guys might be right. Maybe the cohesion doesn't work and then we're in a worse place. But maybe it does work, and that's the piece that puts us above and we go on to win a championship. And the type of risks to get a championship are exactly that. They're risks. They're not always going to work out. But if it does, and that puts us above it, I know we have the best record, but that first game against Boston where we just looked lost, I go, man, we're still not quite there yet.
Did we look lost though, man? Because we cut the lead. We lost by 2 by the end of it.
Yeah, I know, but
good teams go through adversity, face it, and all right, buddy.
Let's move on. But I'm taking Butler.
No,
second player.
No, you don't get to just move on after saying you're going to blow up the core 4 and not let us respond.
You responded. You don't like it. I get it.
Right.
What more do you want to say?
Why?
Kyle Kuzma is our next pick.
Oh my God. You just put Kyle Kuzma's face over Noah.
Right.
Look at me. I am the host today. We're moving on. Kyle Kuzma is our next pick. Are you buying? John, tell me yes or no. Why? Give me 2 sentences.
John gets to go first twice in a row too now. Are you just
You went first on every college football pick, Noah.
You're the one who made the graphic, man. That's not my fault.
John, I want to hear your take.
I'll be quick. No. Kyle Kuzma doesn't make us a better championship contender than we are today. I'm not in the habit of making moves just to make them. This is a pass for me. And again, no disrespect to Cooch. I know he's a good player, but I don't know. Just no.
Okay. Noah?
I'm allowed to talk now.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. This is a move more in the wheelhouse of what I think they should do. It depends what you have to give up. If we're talking some second round assets and, like Craig Porter Jr., which I don't think it would be, I'd 100% do something like this to add some more scoring and some more size to this Cavaliers offense and defense for that matter. But, if we're starting to even talk about creeping up to Sam Merrill, George Niang, a lot of these players to me are untouchable unless it is a clear upgrade. And I don't see that happening in the open market unless teams are selling like it's the MLB trade deadline. So I'm going to go with maybe, depending on the ask.
So let me ask you this. He's a small forward. You take him before Strus, right? And I like Strus, don't get me wrong.
It's tough. I don't know about that just because Strus hasn't played yet with the injury. He was a big part of that scoring. It's tough. Kuzma isn't known for his defense. Neither is Strus to some degree. It's tough. You're talking tomatoes to tomatoes or whatever that saying is. That's just kind of where I'm at. Adding him, though, to add size makes sense.
Adding him to add size does make sense. I just think that we don't add him for the same reasons we already discussed. If you don't want to rock the boat with a clubhouse cancer and you would pass on Jimmy Butler, why chance it for Kyle Kuzma? Does adding him and removing Max Strus make us a championship contender?
Is Jimmy Butler a cancer? I've never heard that about
I'm just
him.
saying.
You're allowed to go back to Jimmy Butler, but if I want to question your take, we have to just move forward. Anyway,
what I'm saying, I'm not saying Butler is a cancer. I'm saying the reasons we said we wouldn't add a talent as high as Jimmy Butler is because we don't want to rock the boat of this cohesiveness. And if you wouldn't rock the boat for Jimmy Butler, why in God's name would you do it for Kyle Kuzma, where the return is far smaller? Just because he's a little bit better than Max Strus, that changes nothing about anything for this team. We can do the same thing with Kyle Kuzma that we do with Max Strus. Because if it's down to Kuzma and Strus, we're screwed. We need the big four to be the big four. So, it's just a move to make a move. Like, would I take him? Yeah, sure. If he says he won't cause an issue and we could trade him out for something other than the core four, like whatever if you want to. But what is it? Do you feel better about the Cavs the night you go to bed hearing we landed Kuzma and got rid of Max Strus?
I think Kuzma's a little bit more than a little better than Max Strus. I'll say that. I like Strus. Strus kind of limits what you can do on offense. I think Kuzma's a little more versatile.
How does Strus limit what you can do on offense?
I was going to ask that.
Because he's just he's more of a guy you stick. He plays the Kevin Love role, and that's not what we always need.
What is the Kevin Love role?
The stand and yak up a three.
That's exactly what the fifth option on a starting offense should be doing at that point.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, I think you just get a little more out of Kuzma than you do out of Strus.
I didn't
say I'm buying this. I don't like him as our top prospect to go after. I'm just throwing out options here. I'm just spitting facts for you guys.
Continue on, man.
No, I want to talk about Kuzma a little more.
Oh, this guy.
Moving on.
It just feels like you're like packing up your entire house, putting your home on the market, selling it, and buying a new one for 80 more square feet and a half bathroom in the basement. This is a lot of work for not a lot of extra.
100%.
Brandon Ingram. He's a small forward for the Pelicans at the moment. I'm not sure. First of all, I do want to point out that Noah chose these images. I'm not sure why he chose this one. He's doing my boy Ingram dirty.
This is his 2024-2025 NBA headshot that is used on NBA.com, ESPN, CBS Sport. This is his fault, not mine.
They were not drug testing that week because my boy was rolling in there high as hell. Is all I'm going to say to this picture.
They're allowed to smoke weed.
It is no longer a banned
substance. Yeah, it is, isn't it? All right, Brandon Ingram. Noah, since you whine so much, let's start with you. Are you
coming
buying?
From the king
Are
of
you buying, Noah?
Himself? Can I talk? Am I allowed to talk?
Can you?
This guy, man. This guy. No, I'm not buying Brandon Ingram. Oh, this guy. No, I'm not buying Brandon Ingram because we're going to have to ship off a piece of the core four. And I am so adamantly against shipping off a piece of the core four after what we have seen through 2.5 months of baseball, 2.5 months of basketball. This team is legit. This team continues to win basketball games and finding ways to win. And there's no reason you should blow it up for a big piece like Brandon Ingram or Jimmy Butler. I will scream at the top of my lungs this fact. Go ahead.
John?
Yeah, I thought you were going to jump in. We're going to switch the order up. But no, I feel like Noah. Brandon Ingram's more interesting. Dude can score like 22, 23, 24 points a game. He's a decent three-point shooter.
He averages 22 a game.
Okay, there you go. So I wasn't talking out of my ass. It does make you wonder with that talent, like how this team has won like 3 games. But isn't Brandon Ingram hurt?
At the moment?
I thought he was busted up. He had like an ankle or something. And God, that's one of my pet peeves when people say he had an ankle. We all have ankles. He had an injured
Yeah, he's
ankle.
out right now with an ankle. You're correct.
Okay.
Good call. High grade, low left ankle sprain.
Wouldn't hate it. If we have to give up some of the core four, I say no. If we could get him for anything else, I wouldn't hate it. This is probably the best one so far. He's nowhere near as good as Jimmy Butler, but I think he could be a better fit systematically. Also, he plays the 3. He's like a pure small forward more so. So you don't have to worry about overlap, ball dominant guard thing that you would with Jimmy Butler. This is probably the most interesting. You add a guy like this, if he gels with this team, he does significantly upgrade what we can do. I think I would still pass, but this is the first one you've popped up where I'm like, I could get behind this if I had to. I wouldn't do it if I were the GM, but I wouldn't hate it.
You guys know my take here. You know that I like him. You know that the 3 is a need that I think we should fill. Our only kind of weak spot on this team. That said, I mean, the idea of touching the core 4, as Noah calls it, absolutely not.
Nearly the core 4.
Nearly, I mean, nobody is really worth that for the most part. And Ingram certainly isn't either. But I don't know. Can we not get him for other pieces? I don't know the answer to that.
I think it's going to.
I thought the Pelicans were trying to move him.
They're trying to blow up. It sounds like there's been some Zion rumors. So I'll retract my hell no to a firm no if it involves the core 4 to a potentially maybe depending what pieces we have to give up. If we're talking Max Strus, a couple seconds, another first because we've given so many to Utah, who cares about our first round picks at this point? Sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, if you
How about
yeah, go ahead.
How about we talk about an old favorite here in Cleveland? A man who has ties through his dad, who was here, he was fan loved, a backup center in Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah, I say yes.
No, Noah was ready. Let's hear it, buddy.
I'm 100%. I think this is the only move that truly makes the most sense. I think it's an affordable move to go out and get. This team needs some extra size on the bench. If there's a potential with Evan Mobley being out, we've seen that once already, or Jared Allen. We need some of that backup size so we're not playing small ball with George Niang at the 4 or Strus at the 4, whatever that would look like. Bringing in a guy like Larry Nance, who is a solid backup center with ties to the city. I actually have a Larry Nance jersey, not senior, a Larry Nance junior jersey from his first stint here. I think it makes a lot of sense for filling a hole in a way that isn't disrupting too much. I think you can get away with some seconds, some prospects, lower level players like maybe a Craig Porter Jr. who isn't getting a lot of minutes right now, and filling it up that way. So that way we can get a good backup center for our playoff push.
Yeah,
I like it. I think you're absolutely right. You know what I want to see more than Larry Nance Jr. back? I want to see TT as more of an enforcer. The guy's got size. He knows the game. What we need is somebody to come in like Big Perk, and not take shit when we need that role. That's what I want to see. I think I think, yeah, Larry Nance Jr. would be a great backup. To your point, to help save some of the minutes, especially if some of our guys get hurt. But I want to see more of that enforcer role. I don't think we get that out of him, but I don't hate the pick.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think you could get him for nothing. It wouldn't affect the roster. You could do it on a financial transaction, probably, and get somebody to just unload some salary. And one thing that I did see out of this team, I'm hoping a lot of stuff that we've seen in the last 2 years with the playoffs doesn't come back with the Cavs this year, because that would be really bad. Like the whole Orlando, you need 7 games to get out of the first round thing. But I think we need guys who have size to eat fouls when teams have dominant centers. I think Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are really good and they're good defenders, but when you have to actually bang with a true big, we got in a little bit of foul trouble and had some trouble down low. And having another just big guy who can run with the second team and give you 6 fouls, so you don't have the Wagners scoring 80 points in the paint in a playoff series.
Those guys.
Or Chris Kristaps Porzingis.
It's bedtime for the old man.
Old man's like, oh, what time? It's 10 o'clock already?
Take your Mucilex or whatever it's called, Mucinex.
Thank you both for being assholes. That is the alarm, so I remember to move the elf on the shelf.
Oh.
So I got to remember. Text me in 20 minutes and remind me to go down there and do that. We just need size. We need somebody who can eat fouls, who can bang down low, who can give us some toughness. I would love it if we could add him, because it doesn't change much.
All right. I got one more for you guys. He's a man in LA, but he's just a kid from Akron. He brought us our first ever championship to this city for the Cavaliers organization. One LeBron James. You guys buying? Man. You selling? Give me your take.
No. I know you don't like me hedging in the caveats that I threw out with Ohio State, Tennessee, so you might not like this either.
You weren't hedging. You took Tennessee straight up. You were hedging on trying to make the bet afterwards with the dumpling.
Yeah, so like I said, you don't like the hedging. That's all I was saying. So you might not like this. I think if you can convince this team needs a 3. And if I could give up Isaac Okoro's spot and replace it with LeBron James, we're really on to something in terms of winning a title. The problem that I would see is if you get the Jimmy Butler kind of thing where LeBron comes here and he thinks the offense should still run through him even though he's 40, and he has a problem giving up some of the control to Donovan Mitchell, whose team this is now. If you could have a behind closed doors conversation to see if LeBron thinks he should still be the man or if he's willing to play Robin to a Batman, and he says yes, I think adding the best 3 in the history of the game to a team in need of a 3 is a winning recipe, and we could win for as long as LeBron is here and healthy. If LeBron's going to pound the ball and dribble for 22 seconds and chuck 30-footers and not flow in the offense that this team has been running, then I would say no. So that's a big caveat, but overall, yeah, I mean, if LeBron wants to come back to Cleveland, will play his part, absolutely, I'd take him back.
Yeah, my answer to this is no, because all of John's caveats are just simply not going to happen, as much as it would be fantastic if they would. LeBron James is still LeBron James. He's the greatest player in the history of the sport. And there's no way you're going to tell that man to take a back seat to this young core. On top of the fact that the optics with this trade would make no sense. He would have to be cut and picked up and signed for a vet minimum because we're $30 million into the luxury tax as it is. There's so many optics that goes back to you would have to trade a piece of the core for. And I am still adamantly okay with that, even if it is LeBron James at this point in time. I want to see this team, as much as I love LeBron, I am a huge LeBron fan. I am not a LeBron hater. I was going to say I never have been, but I was when he went to Miami. Loved him when he came back. Had no problem with him going to LA. I want to see them do it without him, man. I want to see us as a city be able to do it without this saving grace face that is the LeBron James and the LeBron James era in Cleveland. I'm ready to see us do it on a team built here, not from here. I don't know.
I don't think we in Cleveland have the option. I don't think Clevelanders can be picky to say, we're not just going to take a championship. Here's how we want to win it. We got
Thank
to
you.
do
Yeah,
one.
that's exactly what I was going to
We've
say.
had
Like,
one in 60 years, bro. If LeBron
I
comes
just want a
back, we win again.
championship.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I don't care who brings it. First of all, he is from here. Listen, my take is this. No, I don't want LeBron, but it's not for anything that you said. And the reason is I think he could take a back seat. He was ready to hand the keys over to Kyrie, let's not forget. Yep. And then that just, well, we know how that went. I think he could do that. What I don't want is the circus that follows him. And the circus is a media circus, which is negativity when it comes to Cleveland. They'll lose 2 games and they'll go, oh my God, we got to trade everybody and go get, like you said, Jimmy Butler or something. And then what I don't like either is the LeBron, GM changing coaches, and I'm not happy with this coach, and let's bring in this player. That doesn't work. We've seen it doesn't work. Doesn't work in LA. It didn't work the second time around in Cleveland when he was doing that towards the tail end. That's exactly what I don't want. And that drama, listen, LeBron James is a dramatic guy. There's just no getting around it. He likes drama. He can't help but insert himself and be drama. That's going to follow. That's what I don't want. That's why I'm out, even if we got him for free. Well, maybe if we got him for free.
If we got him for free, you're taking him in a heartbeat. And if you're saying you're not, even me, who's adamantly against it and wants to see us do it in a different way and all of that, or whatever I said.
Free is nice. I will say this. One of my favorite things is when thinking about this and thinking about Donovan Mitchell and how he would react and what he would think. At no point did I think he'll want out immediately because he's not the star. Donovan seems like the guy that doesn't need that and just wants to help his team to win. And if we're winning and he's helping, everything's gravy. And that's what I love so much about D-Mitch. Yeah. And that's why I would love for this team to make a run, and I think they can. I get a little worried that we started so hot that it's inevitable we're going to cool off and we're just hot at the wrong time.
Well, we almost have to cool off. They only lost.
You would think, right? But I do think that we have a team built right now to vie for championships. I still don't know if we have a team that can win them.
So that's what I was going to say too. My concluding thought on this is my take on this entire segment that we did is interesting, and it was a great conversation. But if I could say anything for all of it, it would be I would love to have this conversation next year after we see what they do in the playoffs this year as assembled. Because the Cavs have a unique chance right now to dismantle the way the league works. Every 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, you go from big guys down low who can guard Shaq to threes and D to you got to sign a superstar to you got to get a big three. And the Cavs are proving that good ball movement and offense and having maybe not one guy who's in the top 10, but having 4 guys in the top 30 could be a recipe to success if everybody plays to their strong suit. I'd love to see what they can do to just debunk the myth that you got to get a megastar and 2 superstars to win a title.
And that's more so what I meant by my take, right? Is that I want to see this team do what I think this team could do as soon as this season and win a championship without having to have one megastar on the team. And we're just a bunch of guys who really, truly play good basketball together. And I say a bunch of guys like Donovan Mitchell isn't a star in this league, and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley aren't on their way, and Jared Allen hasn't been an all-star. You get what I'm saying. I think that's more so what I mean by that take is the fact that I want to see them do it with this core group because it has been so much fun just watching these guys with maybe an addition of a guy like Larry Nance to shore it up and end it there.
And the Cavs going out of the
I mean, it would be a
somebody
magical run. I agree with you. It would be so much fun. But every night I wish I'd win the lottery too. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. Yeah, so if a star player puts us over the top,
the odds are a little different there, but I see what you're saying.
A little bit, but
there's a difference too. In the reason I said this season matters is if we go to the Eastern Conference Finals and push the Celtics to 7 games and lose a hard-fought series, it's different than the Bulls taking us to 7 games in the first round and losing to the Magic in round 2. Like, I got to see how this plays out before I can say what I'm willing to give up and what I'm willing to add. If Darius Garland averages 2, 2, and 3 for the playoffs again this year, and then you say you could trade him for Jimmy Butler, I'm be like, bro, like probably so, right? Like it's different.
At this point, though, I'm thinking a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals or bust. I'm not saying finals, but we should be making the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on how that seeding works out, obviously. But
yeah, and
assuming we're
how
not meeting
Milwaukee pans
Boston
out.
early.
Yeah, we got to see
It
how
should be
Milwaukee
us and
pans out. They're
Boston in the
playing
Eastern
great.
Conference for sure. Yeah.
I agree,
Have you
right?
guys watched the Bucks this year, though?
They're an X factor. I'll give you that.
They've gotten better since when we played them the first time around. I'm really excited for that game on Friday when we play them.
You know who else is a fraud? Not just James Franklin, but there's a coach that goes by Doc. And no, I'm not talking Bugs Bunny. Doc Rivers is a bit of a fraud in my mind. I was telling somebody this not too long ago, and he goes, yeah, that's a friend of mine. I was like, well, that's awkward, but he's kind of a fraud. I don't believe in Doc Rivers at all.
No, I think he sucks. I'm with you on that. I don't even think he's kind of a fraud. I think he's overrated, and his teams won despite him, not because of him.
100%.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad we're all still on that same page. On that note, it's probably a good time to move us into one of the favorite topics of the show, which is hot takes. I want to know what your hot take is. Maybe it's a prediction. Maybe it's John moving to Tennessee because he's a Volunteer fan now. I don't know. Give me your hot takes. Noah, let's start with you. What do you got?
Yeah, so last night some news broke. We haven't really talked NFL much at all on this show. And I want to touch base with that miserable team on the lakefront of Lake Erie for at least 3 more seasons or however long it's going to be. But Browns fans, I am breaking the news to you right now. I'm putting my hat on it. I'm claiming myself to say Kirk Cousins will be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns in 2025. You can like it. You can hate it. You can think it's not the right move. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying Kirk Cousins will be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns in 2025.
I love it. I hope you're right.
John, you acted like you didn't like it real quick.
No, I love it. For the second time in show history, the hot takes match. Doesn't quite. I would call us a 90% match because I'm not ready to call my shot that he will be the starting quarterback, but I'm ready to call my shot that I want him to be. A Stefanski Cousins reunion in Cleveland with a roster that's still kind of primed to make a run that's devoid of quarterback would be amazing. So I put all my eggs in that basket and see if I couldn't get him to the North Shore. The other thing that I will say to Eric is there's only so much John's moving to Tennessee shit I'm going to take off a Yankee fan. So I'm going to cut your ass off right there. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. I think the Volunteers are going to win on Saturday.
But we're talking about
not a Volunteer fan.
Ohio State. Yankees are like a very, very distant second team. There's history. You took Tennessee. Buddy.
It's not because I like them. It's because I think they're going to win. Do you want me to lie to you to make you both feel better? Oh, the Browns are going to the Super Bowl. And remember Noah telling me, oh, Deshaun Watson's going to be amazing. Just wait. I kept saying, no.
Noah just catching strays over here.
Yeah, like what did I do? I'm on your side, man, and you're just kicking me down too. No, you're a Tennessee fan, damn it.
Yeah, here we go. All right, well, we'll see. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you are both right about Kirk Cousins. 6 months ago, I would have told you not a chance in hell. They are going down with the ship that is Deshaun Watson. And although we know he'll probably be back next year, I think that the fans, I've seen reports that people are canceling their season tickets just based on reports that Deshaun's going to be back next year. I think the momentum is changing and ownership's taking note. Haslams are not people that like to be disliked. It seems silly, especially with how he's run his other businesses, but they're very vain individuals. I think there is a move here where we could get Kirk Cousins. I like that. My hot take, though, is that the Kansas City Chiefs are 13-1, but 7 of those games were decided by bogus calls, by a late fumble, by a blocked field goal. They could be a below 500 team this year, and they're not. They're 13-1. They find ways to win. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win another Super Bowl, but what I think is going to happen, this is what I'm calling. This is my prediction. And I don't even know if it's going to line up this way, but let's pretend it does. The Chiefs are going to knock out the Ravens. The Bills are going to knock out the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. The Bills are going to be your Super Bowl winners. Especially after that game against Detroit, I'm not sure of anybody that's beating Buffalo this year. I hope
I'm with you.
They're a franchise that deserves it almost more than any. Anything can happen in football any given Sunday. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs won another one. It's definitely possible they turn it on come playoff time. But if I'm betting today, for real, not SMU betting, I am betting for the Buffalo Bills.
It's an interesting take. We could do a whole nother show on it. I hope you're right. I also know that if in my life, the number of times that I said, it's got to be the Bills this year, right?
That's fair.
I mean, when I started watching football, they were in the first 4 Super Bowls I remember watching.
Hey, guess what, guys? Speaking of every year, like we're excited, guess what's back? The most important time in Browns football is back to be in the draft, baby. It's not the regular season. There's no postseason. We're living for the draft again. God, it hurts. It hurts so bad.
Remember when
I
you
love the
told
draft,
me,
though, so.
Eric, remember you told me I was a downer because I said I struggle to see this team winning more than 6 or 7 games. You're like, come on, man. You got to give me the – just saying. Since
we were living high back in September,
I said
August.
17-0. I was sniffing the Deshaun Watson.
Noah said something like 13 wins. Eric said something like 10 or 11 or
we
12.
came off a playoff season with a cobbled together. We had hot glue and popsicle sticks holding our team together, and we went to the playoffs. I think you used that
same analogy when we were talking about this too. That's funny.
Sounds like excuses, Eric. Sounds like
a good analogy. Listen, Ohio State by 50. Gentlemen, before I wrap us up, is there anything else you want to add?
I'm all set. I'm ready to get out of here, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us at the office. Don't forget to subscribe or hit that download button. If you're listening to the audio only version, you can always hit that little skip forward button to skip past John's take on Tennessee. Check us out on the socials. All of our socials are the @ the office CLE. So it's just the office CLE on Instagram, Twitter, etc. Have a great day and an even better night. We'll see you next time.